and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Edmund Burke, will now open the ceremony.
Graduands and guests, as President and Vice-Chancellor of the University, and by the authority of the Senate and the Council, I declare this congregation open for the conferring of degrees on candidates both present and absent. A very warm welcome to you all, and now please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Graduands, today is a momentous day, a significant milestone in your lives. For some, the end of higher education as you move on to a profession, and for others, the next step along your educational pathway. When you look back on your time at Leicester, it'll be for many reasons. The memorable events you attended, sporting triumphs, your favourite lectures, and taking part in groups and societies. At Leicester, you will have forged friendships with people from across the world with different outlooks, cultures, and values. Friendships that have helped you thrive and survive. And friendships for life that will be as important to you in the decades to come as they are today. A sense of community and belonging is at the heart of our campus. And it's this sense of belonging that will prepare you on the road ahead, ensuring that you're ready to face new challenges with confidence and with strength. University is about much more than just exams and assessments. It's about discovery. What you've learned about yourself is as important as the subject that you studied. Remember your first day at Leicester, when everything seemed so new? Many of you had left home for the first time. Some of you were the first in your family to go to university. Well, think of how far you've come, how much you've developed, and what a journey it's been. You've fulfilled hopes and aspirations and proved to yourself and to others what you are capable of. After all your hard work, now's your opportunity to celebrate. Today is a time for cheers, for laughter, and tears of joy. And we've an extra reason to celebrate today, because it was 100 years ago that the foundations for this university were laid, and you are among our first centenary graduates. The University of Leicester was established quite uniquely as a living memorial for all those who had made sacrifices in the First World War. We were built on the hope of a better tomorrow. By bringing people together, our founders sought to use higher education as a power for good to transform lives. That's a commitment that we honour to this day.
Let us offer higher education as our war memorial, to honour those who took part in the Great War, to the glory of those gallant fighters who came through, and to the memory of those devoted heroes who gave their lives in the cause of freedom. Now, every material asset a person possesses may flee. Education alone is an asset of which an individual cannot be robbed.
The University of Leicester, educating and inspiring for a century.
You should be proud to be a Leicester graduate. You're graduating from a university that's ranked amongst the top 200 in the world by the Times Higher, and we're one of only 25 targeted by the country's top 100 graduate employers. You're also part of a university with a world-leading reputation for research and discovery. We're known for the invention of DNA fingerprinting by Sir Alec Jeffreys. And of course, we made the remarkable discovery of King Richard III right here in Leicester. More recently, we've designed and built equipment on board the European Space Agency's Bepi Colombo mission to Mercury. This continues a proud history of this university's technology operating in space every year since 1967. Last year, we were awarded the Times Higher Education Research Project of the Year. This was a pioneering kit that collects DNA evidence and will secure justice in developing countries. And in medicine, our work has shown why the first pill for asthma in 20 years can help to reduce asthmatic attacks. We're proud of our global impact and proud to be a global university in a city that is amongst the most culturally and ethnically diverse in the UK. Being part of the international family that is the University of Leicester has provided you with the knowledge and experience to become a global citizen, equipped for life in the 21st century. You graduate at a time when the world is grappling with major challenges, be that climate change, political uncertainty, growing inequalities, or ageing populations, to name just some. Your generation will be instrumental in tackling these issues. And what you've learned at this university will empower you to make a difference. In the words of children's rights campaigner Marian Wright Edelman, education is for improving the lives of others and for leaving your community and world better than you found it. Graduates, we believe in your abilities to go out there and make change happen. It might feel like you're saying goodbye to your university today, but I can assure you that it's just the start of a new relationship. As a Leicester graduate, you will always be part of the Leicester family. You join our global network of 190,000 alumni who keep in touch with us to tell us about their success. And we look forward to hearing your stories, because in many ways it's the combined impact of your individual achievements that truly measures the value of the University of Leicester. Graduates, you now have new letters that you can put after your name, a permanent reminder of your time at Leicester. But our purpose has been to equip you with something more than a degree, with the spirit of intellectual inquiry, with a deep curiosity, and with the perseverance, skills and confidence to launch yourself into life beyond university. Parents, relatives and friends of our graduating students, please join me in applauding our graduating class of 2019. Graduates, please join me in showing your appreciation to your families and friends for their ongoing support. Families and friends, can I encourage you to clap, cheer, shout and make a lot of noise as our graduates walk across the stage. This is a day for celebration and we should make the most of it. Graduates, I congratulate you on the degrees you've obtained, and on behalf of the University of Leicester, I wish you every success for the future. Thank you.
President and Vice-Chancellor, as Head of the College of Social Sciences, Arts and Humanities, I, Professor Henrietta O'Connor, present the following candidates for their awards. Natasha Barrett. Jennifer Bergevin. Catherine Bunning. Ahmed Bazarjan. Xin Gao. Edmund Hagan.
Well done.
Heather Keeble.
Well done.
Benjamin Coppin.
Well done.
Joshua Stewart Bennett.
Well done.
Rachel Sycamore.
Well done.
Haggy Yuan.
Well done.
With a degree of Master of Arts in Heritage and Interpretation, Emily Bourne.
Well done.
Ruth Boys.
Well done.
Lana Burgess.
Well done.
Amy Doolan.
Well done.
Hannah Hill.
Well done.
Catherine Horn.
Well done.
Beatrice Rapley.
Well done.
With a degree of Master of Arts in Historical Archaeology, Sylvia Knopp.
Well done.
With a degree of Master of Arts in Museum Studies, Vanessa Bulkwill.
Well done.
Catherine Brown.
Well done.
Kay Wing Karen Chan.
Well done.
Thomas Collins.
Well done.
Lucy Greer.
Well done.
Paul Johnson. Jordan Keithley.
Well done.
Amy Lee.
Well done.
Emily Locke.
Well done.
Charlotte Mitchell.
Well done.
Alexander Moggs.
Well done.
Alison Naylor.
Well done.
Olivia Notter.
Well done.
Alexia Sully Carlis.
Well done.
Simon Walmsley.
Well done.
With a degree of Master of Arts in Socially Engaged Practice in Museums and Galleries, Alice Clark.
Well done.
Ruchi Mittal.
Well done.
With a degree of Master of Arts in the Classical Mediterranean, Karen Austin.
Well done.
Stephanie Ulrich.
Well done.
With a degree of Master of Science in Business Analysis and Finance, Yu Yao Bi.
Well done.
With a degree of Master of Science in Financial Economics, Yi Fei O.
Well done.
With a degree of Master of Science in Museum Studies, Scarlett Gordon.
Well done.
With a degree of Master of Science in Security and Risk Management, Oliver Camilleri.
Well done.
Dean Hartley.
Well done.
Moses Jitobo.
Well done.
Robert Kennedy.
Well done.
Christopher Lowry.
Well done.
Duncan Shepherd.
Well done.
For the Postgraduate Diploma in Financial Risk Management, Doreen Chimwanda.
Well done.
For the Postgraduate Diploma in Museum Studies, Amber Mitchley.
Well done.
For the Postgraduate Diploma in the Classical Mediterranean, Idel Suarez.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate my statement.
For the Postgraduate Certificate in Security and Risk Management, Robert Flowerdew.
Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and Archaeology, Joseph Aikman.
Well done.
Jacob Astley.
Well done.
Dominique de Soissons.
Well done.
Thomas Carr.
Well done.
Sapphire Mary Wilson King.
Well done.
Dipali Manik.
Well done.
Ella Morale.
Well done.
Thomas Rose.
Well done.
Joseph Savage.
Well done.
Yu Shi.
Well done.
Joel Southgate.
Well done.
Sean Thwaites.
Well done.
Ben Tipton.
Well done.
Christopher West.
Well done.
Ryan Whelan.
Well done.
Olivia Wood.
Well done.
Charlotte Woodcock.
Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and Classical Archaeology, Amy Arden.
Well done.
Anne Fisher.
Well done.
Tricia Gardella.
Well done.
Gareth King.
Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and History, Caitlin Bedford.
Well done.
Ella Best.
Well done.
Shannon Biddles.
Well done.
Charles Carman.
Well done.
Therese Corton.
Well done.
Alice Douglas.
Well done.
Harry Doyle.
Well done.
Jada Agias.
Well done.
Akel Farouk.
Well done.
Jim Lane.
Well done.
Georgia Masterson.
Well done.
Amy Nguyen.
Well done.
Alexander Smith.
Well done.
James Stoner.
Well done.
The degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and History with a Year Abroad, Sophia Kelly.
Well done.
Robert Scott.
Well done.
The degree of Bachelor of Arts in Archaeology, James Beasley.
Well done.
Angelo Cimarosti.
Well done.
Catherine Emery.
Well done.
Peter Frey.
Well done.
Joanna Hamid.
Well done.
Paul Hasler.
Well done.
Peter Hunter.
Well done.
Matthew Lord.
Well done.
Olivia Lovell.
Well done.
Richard Price.
Well done.
Lydia Richmond.
Well done.
Hope Shaw.
Well done.
Carol Spence.
Well done.
Celeste Stanton.
Well done.
Claire Taylor.
Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Archaeology with Ancient History, Christopher Vincent.
Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Banking and Finance, Mohammed Aziz.
Well done.
David Babatunde.
Well done.
Ray Bai.
Well done.
Zone Jun Choi.
Well done.
Oscar Graham.
Well done.
Junyi Guan.
Well done.
Jioning He.
Well done.
Kai Wei Wong.
Well done.
Malak Ibrahim Lee.
Well done.
Li Lin.
Well done.
Olivia Lowe.
Well done.
Jia Lu.
Well done.
Harsh Mehta.
Well done.
Hong Chang.
Well done.
Young Jun Jo.
Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Business Economics, Cynthia Agor.
Well done.
Luke Anderson.
Well done.
Bradley Ashford.
Well done.
Azar Badalov.
Well done.
Arjun Charlaw.
Well done.
Ji Chow.
Well done.
Kezia Kossi.
Well done.
Debasri Deb.
Well done.
Samuel Dew.
Well done.
Anisha Dillon.
Well done.
Riley Hothy.
Well done.
Chung Shi Hu.
Well done.
Rohit Katan.
Well done.
Mohammed Malik.
Well done.
George Mitchell.
Well done.
Andrew Nicholas.
Well done.
Amun Randawar.
Well done.
Joseph Roberts.
Well done.
Edward Sampson.
Well done.
Moshin Tayeb.
Well done.
The degree of Bachelor of Arts in Criminology, Lucy Dawson.
Well done.
Maria Javed.
Well done.
Olivia Wilsden.
Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Criminology with a year abroad, Louise Connolly.
Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Economics, Oluwatobi Adebanjo.
Well done.
Samson Adidiran.
Well done.
Alexander Agnew.
Well done.
Ramiyan Arunan.
Well done.
Jeremy Barr.
Well done.
Nathan Baker.
Well done.
Joelle Bremang.
Well done.
Alexander Calder.
Well done.
Oliver Campbell.
Well done.
Edward Chapman.
Well done.
Joseph Conroy.
Well done.
James Crowson.
Well done.
Rukaya Degya.
Well done.
Dalina Dang.
Well done.
Gaurav Dighe.
Well done.
Georgia Docker.
Well done.
Matthew Egan.
Well done.
Halima Fatiwala.
Well done.
Benjamin Frost.
Well done.
Paul Fusiri.
Well done.
Dylan Gardia.
Well done.
Owen Gallagher.
Well done.
Anisha Gill.
Well done.
Jack Green.
Well done.
Christian Hall.
Well done.
George Harris.
Well done.
Danielle Hart.
Well done.
Sarah Hathiyari.
Well done.
Kyra Horton.
Well done.
Nathan Henry.
Well done.
Georgina Hopkins.
Well done.
Hashim Hussain.
Well done.
Seth Ishaq.
Well done.
Radhika Jenilal.
Well done.
Ryan Jebbo.
Well done.
Anish Kapoor.
Well done.
Madhura Krishna Kurman.
Well done.
Alexander Lias.
Well done.
Philip Lawson.
Well done.
Daniel Mars.
Well done.
Joseph Mayers.
Well done.
Patrick McLaughlin.
Well done.
Amrita Nidran Tolwar.
Well done.
Jerem Aguda.
Well done.
Shuba Akuye.
Well done.
Dylan Owusu.
Well done.
Emily Parker.
Well done.
Jilesh Patel.
Well done.
Sunil Patel.
Well done.
Shayan Pavmasri.
Well done.
Biraj Paul.
Well done.
Mohammed Pervez.
Well done.
Irama Kwanshai.
Well done.
Evie Raziki.
Well done.
Jack Robinson.
Well done.
Jack Rowlands.
Well done.
Abul Saeed.
Well done.
Gia Saw.
Well done.
Parneet Singhil.
Well done.
Jasdev Singhara.
Well done.
Ilyas Sayad.
Well done.
Callum Taylor.
Well done.
Benjamin Thorpe.
Well done.
Sam Tito.
Well done.
Matthew Tucker.
Well done.
Ali Ulzolfa.
Well done.
Charbel Viltaki.
Well done.
Bivu Nguyen.
Well done.
Jenna Wiles.
Well done.
Yu Ji Yen.
Well done.
Akib Zaman.
Well done.
Athanasia Zanetti.
Well done.
President and Vice-Chancellor, as public orator, may I present Professor Graeme Barker, a candidate for an honorary degree. Graeme Barker is one of the most distinguished and influential archaeologists of our time, but it could have turned out very differently. At school, he was torn between two possible and very contrasting careers, as a soldier or as a ballet dancer. The family background was certainly artistic. Graeme's mother had been a dancer, and his father was percussionist at Covent Garden, so the dancing at least can be explained. The military inclinations came from Graeme's experience as head of his school cadet corps, and what he describes as a wonderful weekend course blowing up wrecked tanks somewhere on the Kent marshes with plastic explosive. An active life of some sort was definitely going to be important. But the young and clearly gifted Graeme Barker decided to prioritise his studies, winning a place at St John's College, Cambridge, to read classics, the first person in his family to go to university. A critical point in his development came when Colin Renfrew, then a junior research fellow at the college, persuaded Graeme to switch from classics to archaeology. He flourished in this new discipline. Shortly after making the change, he worked in Greece during the summer with Eric Higgs, later to become his PhD supervisor. It was Higgs who stimulated Graeme's interest in zooarchaeology, the study of animal remains to explain how ancient peoples lived. He also encouraged Graeme to take a PhD with the remark, "Well, young Barker, I've always thought you'd work well in the heat." And indeed, fieldwork in hot climates has been a hallmark of Graeme's archaeology. Colleagues testify that his projects in Libya, in Italy, in Jordan, Borneo and Iraqi Kurdistan have been models of their kind, large-scale interdisciplinary projects that address big research questions and that have integrated the work of numerous people from a wide range of other institutions. Armed with his PhD, Graeme took a lectureship at Sheffield University and then, in 1984, became director of the British School in Rome, breathing a breath of fresh air into that institution, attracting young archaeologists to work with him on field projects in Italy and demonstrating his capacity for stimulating the enthusiasm of others. This rising star of the archaeological world came to the attention of senior colleagues here at Leicester, and they seized the opportunity to appoint him as head of our archaeology department in 1988. It cannot be argued that the department was flourishing at the time. Indeed, its long-term future was in doubt. Graeme's energy transformed it. His organisational leadership skills, including a talent for innovation and responding to opportunities, resulted in its national research rating rising rapidly from a very humble grade 2 in 1988 to grade 5 in 1966, a level which has been sustained ever since. He had the vision to set up Leicester's innovative distance learning archaeology provision and to acquire our commercial archaeological unit when the opportunity arose. Graeme can truly be credited with laying the groundwork for the many achievements for which archaeology at Leicester has since become world famous, not least the discoveries of the remains of Richard III in 2012 and of the unique Enderby Iron Age bark shield in 2015. By 2004, Graeme had also become head of Leicester's Graduate School and a Pro-Vice-Chancellor. But the opportunity to lead one of the world's most prominent archaeology departments and at his original university was too great a temptation, and he returned to Cambridge as Disney Professor and Director of the MacDonald Institute for Archaeological Research. In addition to his many administrative and management duties, he has had extensive national and international roles, including membership of senior committees of the Arts and Humanities Research Council and chairing the British Academy's archaeological section. The breadth and exceptional quality of his contributions to his discipline resulted in his being appointed a Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2015. Graeme has contributed at the highest level to several areas of archaeology: landscape archaeology, Neolithic archaeology, in particular relating to transitions to farming, and major excavations in prehistoric caves. He has an exceptional record of publication to support all of these. Some indication of why people enjoy working with Graeme emerges when he explains why he loves archaeology. It's enormous fun, it's hugely collegiate, it involves a mix of humanities and science in pursuit of understanding humanity's past, and above all, it has important things to say about who we are and where we are going. The enormous fun also emerges from the testimony of others. The fellow archaeologist in Libya who remembers his energy and boundless optimism, not to mention his stirring early morning renditions of "The Sun Has Got His Hat On," or the Leicester colleague who happened upon Graeme in Libya many years after his return to Cambridge and was impressed by his enjoyment and willingness to rough it. He was happier than I had ever seen him, surrounded by students and postdocs, and talking about the hole that they were digging and the narratives that they might construct around what they had found. Graeme Barker is a man whose joy in life is manifested through his passion for archaeology, his genuine concern for the development of his students and his colleagues, and the impressive contributions he has made to his discipline and to this university. Mr. President and Vice-Chancellor, on the recommendation of the Senate and the Council, I present Graeme William Walter Barker, that you may confer upon him the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters.
Congratulations. Very, very well done. Congratulations.
Vice-Chancellor, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, graduates now, and fellow graduands to follow. I'm enormously delighted to be so honoured by a university that's held and holds such a special place for me in my life. I've also been entranced by the overgenerous words of the public orator, describing somebody I really ought to make it my business to meet sometime. Unlike most archaeologists I know, I was never bitten by the bug as a teenager. I'm still rather vague about how and why I made the decision to change from classics to archaeology halfway through my course, apart from this conversation mentioned with Colin Renfrew. But I do remember from the very first excavations that I attended as a student that summer, feeling that, student as I was, I'd actively joined a discipline, joined an intellectual community, as opposed to being a conscientious student, attending lectures and classes, getting essays in more or less on time. It's been a love affair that's taken me to places I never imagined, given me the privilege of working amongst and getting to know communities around the world in ways I never could have imagined. Greece, Iraq, Italy, Jordan, Libya, Mozambique, actually a spell in Derbyshire as well, and developed long-lasting friendships with innumerable students and colleagues. Like policemen getting younger as you get older, it's been gratifying, if sometimes a bit head-scratching, to see people you thought of as promising undergraduates and graduates making their way up the academic tree as they become professors, heads of departments, and fellows of the British Academy, the highest recognition of humanities scholarship in the UK, sitting on the platform at the moment. Archaeology is a methodology, or rather a set of methodologies. It's a way of studying the past through material remains, not just concrete things like monuments, pots and bones, and stone tools, but biological remains such as bones and seeds and soils and ancient DNA. We study things abandoned, discarded, or buried by past generations. And as all human societies leave material remains of their past, archaeologists use these to address what it means to be human over the full 4 million years or so of human history, with a global perspective. Universities are often a bit baffled about where to place us. Like geography and actually several of the subjects getting degrees today, we don't really fit traditional university structures very well. We're a humanities subject in that we study people, but in that pursuit we employ an extraordinary range of methodologies across the whole spectrum of intellectual inquiry, from the far end of the humanities to the far end of the sciences. The archaeological record is fragmentary, it's got loads of biases, but it bears witness to the entirety of the human past, from the actions of individuals to the great revolutions of human prehistory and history. As a set of methods, we can apply it to the study of any period, whether an Ice Age cave or a Cold War nuclear bunker. In historical periods, enriched by written records and oral testimony, we're critical often in providing evidence about people's unrecorded lives, what's often called about people denied history. The best departments of archaeology bring together scholars interested in different periods of the past, different parts of the world, different questions about past societies, and employing different specialisms about the art science spectrum across. Leicester is firmly in the premier division of such communities of internationally admired scholarship. And probably my proudest achievement in my professional life has been to have played a part, however small, in Leicester archaeology's extraordinary trajectory of excellence. And it is a small part, because great departments are made by teams of collaborating academics who might disagree profoundly in the ways they choose to look at the past, but who respect each other's passions, by academics who teach with passion and imagination, to engage, challenge, and draw the best out of their students, by vibrant graduate communities, and by students who are self-motivated, questioning, challenging, and often touched by the same stardust that touches out your teachers. I know from my 16 really happy years here, and the close contacts I've maintained ever since with friends and colleagues here, that Leicester School of Archaeology and Ancient History is, with bells and whistles, such a community. And something else that makes for a great archaeology department is fantastic field work, the lifeblood of the subject in terms of digging into the past. And Leicester's got an enviable tradition and reputation here. We sometimes forget how unique is the experience in engaging in archaeological field work, though those of us who've been long engaged in field work can still be brought up short by the extraordinary privilege of being the first person to handle something that somebody last handled 100, 1,000, 10,000 or 100,000 years ago. I can't think of any other discipline where student training involves the absolute sharp end of research, the moment we hand you a trowel, to destroy something by digging it in an absolutely unrepeatable exercise with the only evidence left being what you, the student, observed, felt, experienced, classified, interpreted, and recorded for posterity in words and images. Imagine a historian taking students into an archive, finding a box of totally unstudied manuscripts, getting the students to study that treasure house of new knowledge, draw conclusions from it about its meaning, and then burn it. And that's the exercise. It makes for a relationship between staff and students in archaeology that's pretty special. We're a team subject par excellence. Archaeology gets huge media and public interest. Nobody in Leicester needs reminding of that, as we've heard. And I went this morning to see the Richard exhibition, the display centre. I've heard about it the first time I'd seen it. And just the impact on the town is extraordinary. Popular TV shows get the teamwork aspect across really well. And also usually the contribution of some clever archaeological science. But in the worst media representations, we sometimes get presented as a bit of light entertainment, a fascinating hobby for sensible people, but a proper career only for wackos. What many media representations fail to get across is that good archaeology is intellectually challenging and relevant to our times, like museum studies, with serious things to say about who we are, where we've come from, where we're going. In my time, I've been involved in multidisciplinary field projects that have looked at how farmers in the past, within different economic and social structures, variously conserved or devastated arid parts of the world, and what lessons we can learn from that for modern management. How people have used indigenous knowledge to manage rainforests ever since our species first encountered them over 50,000 years ago, knowledge that's being used in things like orangutan conservation programs today. How some societies developed technologies and ways of living to manage climate change, and others failed. And currently at Shanidar Cave in Iraqi Kurdistan, whether our ideas about death and its aftermath are unique to our species or also characterise our closest living relatives, the Neanderthals, or closest relatives, the Neanderthals. Many politicians express surprise as well as horror at the devastations caused by ISIS to great archaeological monuments within their intended caliphate. Why attack a few stones? But all archaeologists well understood this, because we know that the past we study is never neutral. Identities, modern identities, for good and ill, are rooted in notions of people's similarities and differences, in turn rooted in ideas of shared, disparate or conflicting pasts. Archaeologists have a great responsibility to deal as objectively as we can about the past. It's never easy, partly because our theoretical frameworks emphasise the multivocality of the past, the different perspectives of men and women, of slaves and masters, of colonisers and colonised. But also because of the different political agendas looking to the past for simple stories to justify present actions and prejudices. Despite the rather cosy connotations of the term heritage, with which archaeology is sometimes conflated, somewhat unhelpfully mostly, archaeological findings are regularly used and misused in politically contested arenas, such as land and burial rights and competing ethnic histories. And as I've been involved in all of those. In the highlands of Borneo, where I've been working, including with Leicester colleagues, the only way that Penan hunter-gatherers and Kelabit farmers can prevent their land being logged by unscrupulous companies is to demonstrate to government that they've been living there, and in the case of the Kelabit, farming the land there for generations. And we've been providing that deep history of land use. At Shanidar Cave, we're currently working with Kurdish colleagues about how best to display that site it steers a path between Kurdish and Iraqi sensibilities about their respective deep origins and claims on the land. So yes, what we do is fun and it's intellectually challenging, but it's also deadly serious. For those of you who choose to go on in archaeology, wherever and however you practice it, you should have serious things to say about the great issues that confront society, as we've heard, from climate change to identity politics, food security, agricultural sustainability, migration, inequality. Like all the other disciplines represented in this room and the rest of academe, we have to try to counter bigotry and prejudice with rational, evidence-based argument. The stakes have never been higher, with fear of the other shamelessly fanned by many politicians and media. You're at a key threshold in your lives, we're all saying that. You've every reason to be proud of what you've achieved, and especially proud that you're about to be graduates or just become graduates of a great international university. Whatever paths your lives take you, we look to you to take up the baton where my generation has often failed and indeed often caused the messes that you've got to sort out, and use your skills of rationality and analysis with compassion and generosity. And one final comment, you don't need a first to make a difference, even though we should all admire and congratulate those lofty beings hidden in the programme with firsts who've walked over the stage or about to walk over the stage. 50 years ago, man first walked on the moon, July 1969. More parochially, 1969 was also the annus horribilis in the 100-year history of archaeology teaching in Cambridge, where none of us achieved a first-class degree. And I think we're all fellows of the British Academy. It's always made marking essays really easy for me. If I couldn't have written it, it must be a first, dead easy. So many congratulations to all of you and all best wishes for the future. We all owe the University of Leicester a huge amount. And please do your level best to excel in ways that will make the university really proud of you. Thank you.
Music scholar Liam Carey will graduate this afternoon in banking. In October, he will take up a postgraduate singing scholarship at the Royal Northern College of Music in Manchester. Liam will now sing Nessun Dorma, None Shall Sleep from Turandot by Puccini. We dedicate this performance to all of you who have burned the midnight oil to complete your dissertations, prepare for your exams, so that today you can celebrate your final victory.
Nessun dorma, nessun dorma. Tu pure, o principessa, nella tua fredda stanza, guardi le stelle che fremono d'amore e di speranza. Ma il mio mistero chiuso in me, il nome mio nessun saprà, no, solo la tua bocca la dirò, quando la luce splenderà. Ed il mio bacio schiolerò silenzio che ti fa mia. Ma il mio mistero ch'io so, il nome mio nessun saprà, no, di lago notte tramontate stelle, all'alba vincerò, vincerò, vincerò.
Mr. President and Vice-Chancellor, as public orator, may I present Mr. Tony James Heaton as a candidate for an honorary degree. Tony Heaton was born in Preston, Lancashire. He was involved in a motorcycle accident when he was 16, which left him with a spinal injury. At this time, he transferred from a local comprehensive school to an art college in Southport. After leaving college, he became a self-employed artist, a sign writer, a mural painter, and in addition to these artistic pursuits, he had interest in music as a member of a progressive rock band, disc jockey, and record shop proprietor. It was later observed that Tony had gained an enormous amount of expertise while appearing to be aimlessly drifting through life. Later, he studied art at Lancaster University. In a defining moment, Tony took part in an environmental sculpture exercise on the sands of Morecambe Bay. It was noticed that Tony's foot and crutch prints were immediately identifiable in the sand. This was an idea which Tony first used in his first piece of disability art, a plaster cast of his own feet and stick imprints. Tony's artistic concept is driven by a careful consideration of disability and the attitude of others to disabled people. In the Middle Ages, disabled people were thought to be possessed by demons. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the human body was viewed as something to be scientifically studied, and its functions were classified. It was from this period that the medical definition of disability became fashionable. In 1830, the Belgian statistician Adolphe Quetelet defined the concept of the average man in terms of weight, height, and general activity. This was the norm to which all people should aspire. Statistics were collected in Europe and America to extend this idea into the area of eugenics. It was thought that the gene pool of the population had to be protected from any abnormalities. It may seem obvious that these concepts are now outmoded, but they still had an influence on the way disabled people were treated by the medical model. Disability was viewed as a problem of the person, directly caused by disease, trauma, or health conditions that required sustained medical care. In the early 1970s, disability campaigners began to challenge how society treated disabled people based on the medical model. The concept of the social model of disability was coined by Professor Mike Oliver in 1983. To take an example, in the 1980s, it was difficult for a disabled person to enter this building, the de Montfort Hall, and most other buildings in the country. The social model asserts that it is society that disables people by constructing inaccessible buildings. The lives of disabled people can be transformed by providing suitable access to all buildings. The inclusion of disabled people is an essential part of a cohesive society. Any one of us can be made disabled in any split second by a random accident. Tony's early sculptures used the paraphernalia of disability, collection cans, wheelchairs, and even disability access building regulations. These items were turned into what one critic described as profound and joyous, witty statements of what it means to be disabled. One early piece, called Springback, use spinal x-rays, and shock absorber springs from a scrap motorcycle. This is a reminder of the accident which caused Tony's injury, and also the metal strengthening spring implanted in his spine. In 1995, Tony made a wood carving out of a piece of ash, described by a woodturner as useless because it had a fault running through it. Tony called his piece Split, as it represented to him the way society values only the perfect and discards everything that is damaged or imperfect. One of Tony's best-known pieces is Written from a Wheelchair, constructed from 2 wheelchairs and chosen by the National Disability Arts Collection as an example of the golden age of disability art. The piece was redesigned as 2 lecterns used by Lord Coe and Sir Philip Craven during the opening ceremony of the Paralympics in 2012. Tony has good connections with the Attenborough Arts Centre at the University of Leicester. He is on the board of the centre, and his sculpture Gold Lame was a centrepiece of the opening exhibition of the new gallery at Attenborough Arts. The piece shows a blue invalid car designed for a person who is lame. But here the car is painted gold, in fact, gold lame. Tony's point is made clear with wit and humour. He says the piece mirrors his own adjustments from biker to invalid. From 1997 to 2008, Tony was director of the Holton Lee Trust in Dorset, which offers residential accommodation for disabled people to pursue artistic and spiritual activities. He developed a 10-year strategic plan for the Trust with several new buildings, including a very beautiful Faith House Gallery. In 2009, Tony became Chief Executive of Shape Arts. He brought to this general arts charity a perspective on disability arts. One of his first innovations was to introduce Shape Open, an exhibition of new work on the theme of disability by disabled and non-disabled artists. Tony initiated a bursary to enable disabled artists to spend time at leading visual arts institutions. The scheme is named after Tony's fellow sculptor, Adam Reynolds. Tony Heaton has had an impact on the way all of us perceive disability. He was awarded the Order of the British Empire in 2013. President and Vice-Chancellor, on the recommendation of the Senate and Council, I present Anthony James Heaton so that you may confer upon him the degree of Doctor of Letters.
Too much tonic, not enough gin. But they're nevertheless very welcome on a warm afternoon. Vice-Chancellor, Fellows of this university, and everyone gathered here today, well, thank you very much. This is a tremendous honour for me, and I'm very pleased to accept it. And I'm very pleased to be here as well. I was relaxing this morning. I hope you were relaxing too. I don't know, were you? Yeah. As I was relaxing, I thought, do you know, it's really just occurred to me, but this may be the very last lecture you've got to attend. And I'll keep it succinct, and you don't have to take any notes. Now, I know it sounds like a cliche, but coming to university was a life changer for me. They say you've got 7 seconds to make an impression, and most people's first impression of me is as a disabled person. It's difficult to hide a wheelchair. Not that I would ever want to do that. I've got a pride in being a disabled person, and I'm part of a wider disability culture and a disability arts movement, and I've gained strength from being part of that movement. It's political, and if you too are from a discriminated against group, you may understand what might seem to be a bit of a strange statement for me to have just made about pride. Most disabled people I know have got great and admirable qualities: tenacity, fortitude, good humour, and they need to have, because every day they will have had to battle against the world that has been constructed largely to exclude or marginalise them. This is simply illustrated by the lack of physical access to buildings, segregated entrances, inaccessible public transport systems, or the prejudice they might face from people who will actively discriminate against them. And truthfully, they will face disadvantage in virtually all areas of their lives. It was interesting that Graeme spoke about the 50 years since, I think it was said man's great step, one great step for mankind. And I just thought, 50 years later, and we still haven't managed to get a wheelchair user to independently to be able to get on a bus or a train, so-called public transport. So, public transport, I don't think so, actually. And Paul spoke in his introduction of the social model of disability, and put quite simply, the social model maintains we're disabled not necessarily because of our impairments, but we're disabled by the way society has been constructed and by people who have failed to think more creatively about how to construct an inclusive and barrier-free world for a society in which we can all live. And that's where you come in. Because when I was your age, the notion of equal opportunities, inclusion and diversity were in the ascendancy. We were concerned with making a fairer world for all. I think sadly in the last 10 to 15 years, those ambitions have been pushed back and hidden behind a smokescreen of austerity. But you can change that. When you leave here and make your mark on the wider world, should you have the will to take on the challenge of restoring the balance in favour of an accessible, inclusive and equitable society. And I hope you do. In fact, I want you to. Looking back, I doubt that I would be here now in front of you if I hadn't become disabled. In fact, I became disabled when I was a few years younger than you, and I actually doubt that I would have ever gone to university if I hadn't become a disabled person. But we don't always know what our destiny is. And it's as a disabled person with lived experience, but a wider knowledge gained from campaigning for access and rights that has brought me into contact with this excellent university. So congratulations to all of you for making the choice to come to such an enlightened and diverse place of learning with an impressive and growing reputation both nationally and internationally. My association with the university goes back many years, and as Paul said, as in the early development and planning of the Attenborough Arts Centre, which from its early beginnings is now a flourishing arts centre with an exciting programme of cultural events, and it's been a real honour to have accompanied them on that journey. I've also been incredibly lucky to work with the RCMG over many years, the Research Centre for Museums and Galleries here at the university. It has a worldwide reputation for innovation, progressive thinking, and positive action in making museums and galleries relevant to the way we live now, and actually in defining heritage in a contemporary and meaningful way. I'm indebted to both Professor Richard Sandell and Professor Jocelyn Dodder, who are world leaders in their field, and who've welcomed me into their world and allowed me to share in a small way some of my insights and experience. I guarantee you, when you go into a museum or gallery in the future, and you come away amazed at how inclusive, ethical and dynamic it is, it will be because the RCMG has infiltrated it, left it changed for the better, and richer for the community that it serves. It's been my absolute pleasure to work with them, learn so much, and to see their work having such an impact across the world. And I know you will also go out and carry on with the mission from RCMG, those graduates from that particular department. Now, the last thing I want to say to you is that I hope you've all enjoyed your time here. And for me, it took a while for my learning to sink in. I studied social administration, psychology, and visual arts, and I majored in sculpture, and that's what I do now. But it was only after I graduated that I realized I hadn't been taught about those 3 subjects. What I'd really learned was how to start thinking, questioning, researching, and how to practically apply critical thinking, not just to these 3 subjects, but to everything I would do throughout my life then and now. And whilst you may go out there and hone your skills and gather your experience, I would also urge you to remember humility, love, and kindness. And these are the things that perhaps you'd learn from inside of yourselves. Attending university was a great decision, and perhaps like some of you now, I had no idea back then what I would do and where life might take me. In fact, it was only some time later, when I was no longer caught up in the sort of maelstrom of it all, and I had time for reflection, that I started to realize what a great privilege I'd experienced by going to university. So thank you for this award, which I'm very proud to receive. Congratulations to all of you on your achievements to date. Good luck on your subsequent journeys, wherever they may take you. Thank you.
Pro-Chancellor, on behalf of the College of Social Science, Arts and Humanities, I, Professor Daniel Ardley, present the following candidates for their awards. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Accounting, Tamika Ali.
Tamika, well done. Congratulations.
David Anasike.
David, well done.
Yenping Huang.
Well done. Congratulations.
Moin Hussein.
Well done. Congratulations.
Sean Agayon.
Well done. Congratulations.
Olawa Pemilarin Ayo Ilayemi.
Well done. Well done.
Mazabin Islam.
Well done. Congratulations.
Navraj Kunair.
Well done.
Shintong Li.
Well done.
Yaping Ma.
Well done. Congratulations.
Jihad Maya.
Well done. Congratulations.
Ridwan Mohammed.
Well done. Congratulations.
Nicholas Payne.
Nicholas, well done.
Zahida Sheikh.
Well done. Congratulations. Well done.
Mohammed Tariq.
Mohammed, well done.
Antonia Vincent.
Antonio, well done.
Andrei Volkov.
Well done. Congratulations.
Guoling Zhou.
Well done. Congratulations.
Lishard Zhou.
Well done. Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Economics with a year abroad, Ruth Fashabon.
Ruth, well done.
Cameron Langford.
Cameron, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Economics with a year in Industry, James Babington.
James, well done. Congratulations.
Philip Costin.
Well done, Philip.
Mothomi Jishara.
Well done, congratulations.
Samuel Harris.
Samuel, well done.
Jacob Morton.
Jacob, well done.
Miles Starling.
Well done, Miles.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Financial Economics, Umair Abbas.
Umair, well done.
Sarjot Abhol.
Well done, congratulations.
Mojo Yunola Adeayi.
Well done, congratulations.
Muad Al Bulushi.
Well done. Congratulations, well done.
Rihanna Al Pufor.
Rihanna, well done.
Hannah Batra.
Hannah, well done.
Anjali Babsar.
Well done, well done.
Alistair Carrick.
Alistair, well done.
Jay Dillon.
Jay, well done.
Robert Downer.
Well done, Robert.
Prince Enwirobi.
Well done, congratulations.
Stefan Gavrich.
Stefan, well done.
Bahoji George.
Congratulations, well done.
Sonia Gurung.
Sonia, well done.
Ali Issa.
Well done, Ali, well done.
Mohammed Kusab.
Well done, Mohammed.
Siraj Kingi.
Well done, congratulations.
Manoj Karan Bolgeswaran.
Well done, well done.
Diana Lubani.
Diana, well done.
Aniz Makdar.
Well done, congratulations.
Aliyah Manji.
Well done, well done.
Dinashri Mehta.
Well done, congratulations.
Nicole Melling.
Nicole, well done.
Gerald Mensah.
Well done, Gerald.
Sadiq Mahmood.
Well done, Sadiq, well done.
Rene Morapedi.
Rene, well done.
Alexander Mosley.
Well done, Alexander.
Sarah Noble.
Well done, Sarah, well done.
Rena Okpu.
Well done, congratulations.
Kota Umerji.
Well done, congratulations.
Amira Patel.
Amira, well done.
Kashish Patel.
Well done, congratulations.
Kishan Patel.
Well done, congratulations.
Ashley Potter.
Well done.
Mahmood Sani Oba.
Well done, congratulations.
Uma Santhira Sagaran.
Well done, congratulations.
Christopher Shortland.
Christopher, well done.
Aisha Takor.
Aisha, well done.
Lyle Trum.
Well done.
Jacob Wood.
Well done, congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Financial Economics with a year abroad, Olivia Bodek.
Well done, Olivia.
Rory Cornelius.
Well done, Rory.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Financial Economics with a year in industry, Akash Patel.
Akash, well done, congratulations.
Simran Sidhu.
Well done, congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Archaeology, Saskia Edwards.
Saskia, well done.
Joshua Hutting.
Well done, Joshua.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Archaeology with a year abroad, Madeline Peston.
Well done. Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Banking and Finance, Chithira Abraham.
Well done. Congratulations.
Blake Bios-Potia.
Congratulations, well done.
Kieran Brasnell.
Kieran, well done.
Jamie Hollis.
Well done, Jamie.
Liam Karai.
Well done, Liam. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Banking and Finance with a year in Industry, Philman Daniel.
Congratulations, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business Economics, Luke Brown.
Well done, congratulations.
Sam Burford.
Sam, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business Economics with a year in Industry, Lewis Isaac.
Lewis, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Criminology, Victoria Agater.
Victoria, well done.
Elizabeth Ajifowowi.
Congratulations, well done.
Subanaka Ananda Kumar.
Well done, congratulations.
Zoputa Anya.
Well done, well done.
Abdullah Aruk.
Well done, congratulations.
Madeline Astle.
Well done, congratulations.
Zachariah Awali.
Well done.
Rajiv Bedhan.
Well done, congratulations.
Simran Bajwa.
Well done, congratulations.
Sherifat Balogan.
Well done, congratulations.
Charlotte Bradley.
Congratulations, well done.
Chloe Brown.
Chloe, well done.
Kelly Brown.
Kelly, well done.
Holly Carthage.
Congratulations, well done.
Elisa Selikdamir.
Elisa, well done.
Charlie Ann Coyle.
Congratulations, well done.
Poppy Crow.
Poppy, well done.
Jack Del Monte.
Well done, congratulations.
Megan Denning.
Well done, Megan.
Millie Dooley.
Millie, well done.
Layla El Sayed.
Layla, well done.
Esme Faulkner.
Esme, well done.
Sarah Fenning.
Well done, congratulations.
Louisa Fury.
Well done, congratulations.
Chloe George.
Well done, Chloe.
Nicoletta Getzi.
Well done, congratulations.
David Guleva.
Well done, David.
Olivia Gregory.
Well done, Olivia.
Sean Grimes.
Sean, well done.
Candice Gembibi.
Candice, well done.
Charlotte Hamilton.
Charlotte, well done.
Oriram Hector.
Well done, congratulations.
Jordan Higgins.
Jordan, well done.
Tamira Ilyasu.
Tamira, well done.
Anka Iluta.
Well done, congratulations.
Katrina Innes.
Well done, Katrina.
Danella Joseph.
Well done, congratulations.
Natasha Kalule.
Well done, Natasha.
Charlotte Cam.
Well done, congratulations, well done.
Eileen Kazan.
Well done, congratulations.
Thomas Klaus.
Well done, Thomas.
Tuluwanimi Howal.
Well done, congratulations.
Mariana Leonidu.
Mariana, well done.
Joseph Glubinski.
Joseph, well done.
Samantha Mackey.
Samantha, well done.
Danai Matondo.
Well done, congratulations.
Caitlin McCann.
Caitlin, well done.
Ezra Montrose.
Ezra, well done. Well done.
Suela Murayla.
Well done, congratulations.
Amir Mustafa.
Amir, well done.
Georgia Mora.
Well done, Georgia, congratulations.
Maya Nessa.
Maya, well done.
Samantha Newman.
Samantha, well done.
Quintonia Ojeka.
Congratulations, well done.
Martha Olaniran.
Martha, well done.
Asia Page.
Congratulations, well done.
Devyani Patel.
Well done, congratulations.
Jenna Patel.
Jenna, well done, congratulations.
Aldridge Ferry.
Well done, congratulations.
Florence Porter.
Florence, well done.
Jasneil Punia.
Well done, congratulations.
Navdesh Rajput.
Navdesh, well done.
Darcy Reed.
Darcy, well done.
Eleanor Rutherford.
Eleanor, well done.
Eden Sanchez.
Congratulations, well done.
Jasminda Sandhu.
Jasminda, well done.
Silathan Sathitharan.
Congratulations, well done.
Rasheen Saunders.
Rasheen, well done.
Daniel Shafi.
Daniel, well done.
Christy Shamar.
Christine, well done.
Anaheta Sharifi.
Congratulations, well done.
Michael Smith.
Michael, well done.
Amelia Sosilaite.
Amelia, well done.
Rachel Solomon.
Well done, Rachel.
Olivia Spence.
Well done, Olivia. Congratulations.
Hui Tang.
Well done, congratulations.
Hail Tapki.
Well done, congratulations.
Nikita Thaper.
Well done, Nikita, well done.
Isabella Thorpe.
Well done, Isabella.
Willis Thule.
Well done, congratulations.
Nazia Umar.
Well done, congratulations.
Rhiannon Walsh.
Rhiannon, well done.
Joseph Warburton.
Joseph, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Economics, Victor Abiodun.
Well done, Victor.
Oluwafayi Shayo Akinshade.
Congratulations, well done.
Christopher Amy.
Congratulations, well done.
Callum Eyre.
Well done, congratulations.
David Bedford.
David, well done.
Annabelle Blomquist.
Annabelle, well done.
Sigourney Barton.
Congratulations, well done.
Samson Bruff.
Well done, congratulations.
Alexander Ball.
Well done, Alexander.
William Cohen.
Well done, congratulations.
Jacob Delaney.
Jacob, well done, congratulations.
Jagraj Gill.
Congratulations, well done.
Oliver Holt.
Well done, Oliver.
Reza Hussain.
Well done, congratulations.
Avin Joshi.
Congratulations, well done.
Zain Khan.
Congratulations, Zane.
Kirandeep Lal.
Well done, congratulations.
Nimei Mistry.
Well done, congratulations.
Abdul Rahman Mohammed.
Well done, congratulations.
Oliver Myers.
Oliver, well done.
Manisha Adirath.
Well done, congratulations.
Oren Olukoya.
Well done, well done.
Barney Regina.
Congratulations, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Economics and Accounting, Ching Cheng.
Well done, congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Economics with a year abroad, Kirsty Witherford.
Kirsty, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Economics with a year in industry, Kaylin Plumore.
Congratulations, well done.
Arvad Patadia.
Well done, congratulations.
Alexander Robertson.
Alexander, well done.
Joanne Wright.
Well done, Joanne.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Financial Economics, Christina Abiomi.
Christina, well done.
Isaac Abraham Turkey.
Well done, Isaac.
Nishat Alam.
Nisha, well done.
Abdullah Al-Sabeh.
Abdullah, well done.
Charlotte Atkin.
Well done, Charlotte.
Mohammed Shafiq Adham.
Well done, Mohammed.
Emily Binti Ali Rahman.
Congratulations, well done.
Hajar Binti Haji Imran.
Congratulations, well done.
Rabiatul Fazila.
Congratulations, well done.
Jeroni Chandrasingham.
Congratulations, well done.
Elliot Collode.
Elliot, well done.
Siti Daviding.
Well done, congratulations.
Kelvin Jayamaha.
Kelvin, well done.
Suso Kereng.
Suso, well done.
Jack Madel.
Well done, Jack.
Talha Member.
Well done, congratulations. Oh, thank you.
Matthew Milton.
Well done, congratulations.
Anisha Patel.
Anisha, well done.
Abhi Soni.
Well done, congratulations.
Mohammed Zolkifli.
Well done, congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Financial Economics with a year in industry, Chloe Lee.
Well done, congratulations.
Alicia Patel.
Well done, Alicia.
For the Arts Foundation degree in Security and Risk Management, Andrew Durham.
Well done, Andrew.
Anthony Palin.
Well done, Anthony.
Randall Ravineau.
Well done, Randall.
Zakiel Weeks.
Well done.
For the Certificate of Higher Education in Ancient History and Classical Archaeology, Elishuba Bell.
Congratulations, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Business Economics, Callum Goodwin.
Well done, Callum.
For the degree of Master of Science in Financial Economics, Jiarong Zhang.
Well done, congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Economics, Rennie Louise Nigabulam.
Congratulations, well done.
John Oyam.
Well done, John.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Financial Economics, Ulademi Ola Bani Hoidin Olagate.
Well done, congratulations, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Business Economics, Prince Kenneth.
Well done, congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Criminology, Monique Joes.
Monique, well done.
Deborah Katoya.
Deborah, well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Economics, Ujo Chukwu.
Well done, congratulations.
The Pro-Chancellor students, Dr. Susie Imber, will now address the congregation.
Graduates, it's wonderful to be here on such a special occasion. Just 10 years ago, like you, I stood on this stage to receive a degree from the University of Leicester. That moment was a springboard for an incredible adventure, from climbing the highest mountains to operating a spacecraft that's currently heading for the planet Mercury. One of my greatest privileges is that now I teach the first ever lecture that my students hear when they come to the university. That first day, I teach a diverse group of young people just starting out on their journey, and I teach them throughout their undergraduate studies. I watch their progress with awe. I learn their names, we share tea and cake, and we form a community. I could not be more proud of the students sitting here today, because I have seen your struggles, watched you persevere, and shared your triumphs. This day is one of great celebration, and you have filled your family and friends with immense pride. As you take your next steps through life, whether you're traveling the world or entering the world of work, I hope you will look back on these days with a smile, and on this place with fondness. As a member of our global alumni family, you are part of a living legacy to build a better future through the benefits of higher education. Today we all stand proud and remember our beginnings, Utvatam Habayand, so that they may have life. Thank you.
Life is for living, and living is for
Graduates and guests, please be upstanding for the final time in this ceremony. Everyone, please join me in congratulating our class of 2019. I now declare this congregation closed.